So coming to today's topic is we are going to discuss about a new topic called case status. Okay? So case status is just a simple thing. The purpose is see case status, work status, work object status, field value. So any of these terms are same. Okay? See the purpose is see any transaction if you run, so it will be generating some work ID after the next to the work ID value you can see some name. So by default it will be new for every work object. So when you run any transaction, so next to the worker you can see some name called new. So that is nothing but status. Some default status will be generated by Pega. And the purpose is see any transaction if you want to know the see sometimes in the web applications. So sometimes with the web applications, what happens is there will be some issue with some when I submit any data. Sometimes it may close in the first page itself, and sometimes it may close in the. Sometimes it may submit in the second form, third form like that, or sometimes they may drop in the middle of the application. So what happens then means so for every transaction, if they want to track any data, like so up to where the data has been submitted. For example, if you take a policy, so the policy has been submitted or rejected or whether it is approved or not approved like that if they want to know any transaction information so they can identify based on the status. So status will play important role in the live environment when generating any reports, business reports and all when they are going to generate this will play a major role. See, Pega will generate a default status but that is not sufficient to generate any reports. So because the status by default which is generated is same for every work object. So if you see the first page, second page or till end of the page, so the status will be same for all the work objects. But if you want to generate any business reports based on the transaction data, so it should be different for every work object. So from starting till end of the transaction, so the status value must be different. So then only they can generate the report. Suppose if they want a report like, so they want to know how many reports successfully, sorry, how many policies successfully completed till end of the form, or how many are pending approval, how many are rejected. So like that, if they want to know any generate any business reports in live environment, so based on the status only it is possible. So it is not a mandatory field, but so whenever we use any application, that is whenever we work on any application development, so it is a best practice to define the status. So whether it is any flow shape we use in this flow design, so under every flow shape we can define the status, okay? Except in the start shape. Actually, start shape by default it will be there, but except start shape in remaining all the shapes we can define the status. Very simple. So Pega has already given some predefined status, and apart from that, we can also add some user-defined status. Status is just a label. Okay. So in order to know the current status of any transaction, and within the transaction, any work object where it is submitted, where it is closed, or where it is pending, if want to identify based on this status only we can. So this will also will help you to generate the business reports. Okay. In application is web, so it will help you to generate some business reports in the live environment. So this contains predefined and user defined. We can add this. See, predefined means already there in the platform, and user defined means so which we are going to add manually. We are going to add. Okay. Another thing is in order to add user defined status. See, the rule name is field value. That's why the other name is field value. See, in order to define any user defined status, we'll have a rule called field value rule. Okay. So this is easy to define some user defined status, and this come under data model category. And other thing is whenever we define the status, see for every value, suppose if you take this work ID value, it will assign to some property I tell. Okay, I told that pyd is the property where work ID value will be stored. Like that, status value also will assign to some property called py status verb. Okay, so any status value we define whether it is user defined or predefined. So it will assign to some predefined property called so py status verb. Okay. So and whenever we create this user defined status, so particularly we need to mention that property name. Py status work is the name of the property where status will be assigned in the backend. See now for the insurance flow, I want to define some status for each shape. See in the insurance flow right now we're having these four shapes: start, customer assignment, vehicle assignment, and end shape. Okay. So let's see. So how to add user defined or predefined status? Let's see. See coming to the start shape. See, though it is not mandatory, so we can see by default it will be new internally, like a system application internal automatically it will be there as new. But if you want to manually assign the status, we can give it as new for the start shape. Always we can give new for the start shape, but not mandatory. Without giving this also internally it will be taken as new only. But if you want to give it manually, we can provide. And for end shape, we'll be giving some status called completed or resolve completed. Okay. So this is also some predefined status is available. We can select in the drop down. That where to give, I'll show you. And for the customer and vehicle assignment, I want to show you how to define some user defined status. Okay. I want to show how to add a user defined status for the pending, like a for customer assignment, I want to give something like pending customer info. And for vehicle assignment, I want to give something like pending vehicle info. If these two are not there in the predefined status values, so we have to manually define by using a rule called field value rule. We have to use in order to define these two status. Okay? And for the start and end, I'll be using some predefined status. And for the customer and vehicle assignment, I'm going to add some user defined status values. I'm going to add and I'm going to map it in the both the assignments I'm going to map. So very simple. Like that, anywhere if you get a requirement to add the status, so in the same process you have to either choose the predefined one and what to give also you get the requirement. What status name to give, and any if it is a predefined means what status you have to assign. So accordingly you can just select in the drop down. If it is a user defined means, so how I'm going to define now, you have to define like that. So it's a data model rule. So two status we are going to add right now. So one is so both we can create this from data model category. So go to data model. So the name rule name is field value. So I'm giving name status name is, see, hyphen is not mandatory, but when you're giving two different letters in status value, so you can divide with hyphen. Okay, if you don't give hyphen, also no issue. But mostly, whenever we define any status, when two letters are there, so we'll divide that with hyphen. And we have to mention the field name. I said that field name is nothing but py status work is the field name. So click on dot option and go to more. So in the predefined fields, you can choose this py status work. And okay, so like that, anytime if you define user defined status, we have to particularly always same field we have to choose. Py status work is the field name. And click on open. Open this. Just what are the status name given? Just copy in the two option. Copy this in the two option and save this. So like that, I'm going to add one more status. So again, open data model, field value. So select the field as py status work and open. So like that, we can add status easily. So these two are user defined status. Now open insurance flow design. See inside the insurance flow, first open start shape properties. See, even if you don't give for the start shape also no issue, but I want to just show you. So open start shape properties and you can see here some in some shapes you'll get the name as work status, in some shapes you'll get the name as case status. Okay. So any name is there, both are same. See, in the down arrow, first of all, after adding any user defined status, first it will show those names, but go to more option to choose the any predefined status if you want to choose, go to more option. So I'm selecting new for the start shape. Just select the status as new, submit this. Now for the customer assignment, I'm going to give this user defined status. See, coming to the customer that is under the assignment shape where we need to give the status means under advanced settings. So if you go to assignment details, here you will get the name as case status again. Okay. So earlier we can see the name as work status in start shape, but here you will get the name as case status. So select pending customer info here. And when you are adding any user defined status, see except for start shape for other shapes, see before the shape what are the connector we have. So there we'll get some flag color you'll be getting like a if it is a user defined status means like a brick color or dark red color flag color you'll be getting. So before the shape you'll be getting. Okay. So like a maroon or whatever we can say brown, dark brown or whatever we say. So you'll be getting some color flag before the shape. And like that any user defined status we add, so you'll be getting this kind of flag. And if it is a predefined means except for the start shape, because start shape we don't have a connector before the shape, right? So except for the start shape, for the remaining shapes you'll be getting some flag you'll be getting. Okay, so that will define the status of that particular shape. And same way for the vehicle assignment, go to advanced settings and under assignment details you can see case status and select pending vehicle info. Okay, and now for the end shape. So for the end shape I'm going to give predefined status. So here you'll get as work status again. So I'm going to select resolve completed. So select the status value as resolve completed. This is the predefined one. Again for the predefined status, again based on the predefined value, so the flag color can be different and flag pattern can be different for every predefined shape. Okay. So for this is the pattern of the flag and color of the flag. So save it now. So like that we can define the status for any requirement we get. So for every flow shape we can add the status like this. Now if I run the transaction now, see, after adding the status, what I want to do means in the next example, I want to show you an example to understand the filter conditions in report. Okay, like where conditions or filter conditions, how to apply. I want to show one scenario. See, what I'm going to do means run the transaction multiple times and close view work objects at customer pending customer info, close view work objects at pending vehicle info, and close view work objects at resolve completed. See, try to add some records with each different status, like one or two records for each status. Try to create so that we'll understand the next example. If records are there, you'll understand how to apply the filter conditions in report. In the live means automatically records will be created based on the user interaction. But here in the personal edition, to execute the next example and test the next example which we are going to work. So I want to add some records here. Okay. See, first of all, run and see the status. Say on load of page you'll be getting as new, and by default it will display the first page, right? So you can see the status as pending customer info, which is given for the customer assignment. So submit that. So then pending vehicle info will get for the vehicle assignment, and at the after completing the transaction you'll be getting resolve completed. The thing is now this work ID is closed at resolve completed status. So AIFN6006 is there, right, in this application. So this work ID is closed at this status. Like that I'm going to add multiple entries. I'm going to add with a different status. For example, next time I'm going to close the transaction at pending vehicle info itself. Okay, so this ID is there, right? This I'm closing the work ID here itself. If I close the work ID at this status, so this transaction is closed at pending vehicle info. Like that, I'm creating some entries in my application. So do the same in your application also. So for example, this I'm closing at pending customer info. AIFN 6008 ID. I'm closing it pending customer info. Like that, add some more entries. And the next one I'm closing it pending vehicle info. And next time close the transaction till that is submit the transaction till end of the application, end of the page. That is so submit till the end of transaction. So then you'll get result completed. So like that, one more time I'm going to execute. So this time close the transaction at pending customer info. See, like that, create some entries in your application too, so that you will understand the next example easily. So once we add the status, so once again, so like that, status is to add the, so whenever we add any status, what happens means we can identify the current status of the work object, okay, in every transaction. So where the page is closed, in which page the transaction is closed and all, based on the status we can identify. And any reports if they want to generate also, if status is defined for every shape, then it will be easy for them to generate any business reports. So like that, any user defined status if you want to define. So using field value we can add, and we have to map it in the shape properties. In every shape, some settings will be there to define status, either work status or case status. Some setting will be there. So there we have to map. And after the mapping, so just run the transaction for multiple times and close few work IDs set pending customer info, pending vehicle info, and few arcades closed, resolve completed. So create some entries so that in the next example we are going to understand how to create a report with filter conditions. So after doing this, now the next one again will come back to report definition. Okay, before that we'll understand some built-in properties. Earlier I told that I'll be explaining some predefined properties list. Okay, so here earlier we know some properties already, guys. Okay, so which are p work page means nothing but user page in Pega. It's a default user page in Pega. So any work object information is submitted for the means work to other classes. Any information submitted, this will map to this py work page. Okay, and what is the other one? So PYID. Okay. So what is PYID? So PYID is nothing but the work ID value. So any work ID value created, so that will assign to this column, which is nothing but PYID. So apart from that, we know PY status work today. So which will assign the case status, any status defined for any work object. So this will assign to the column called PY status work. Okay. So like that, there are some other fields are there in the application. So those are nothing but px create operator. Actually, so px create operator will nothing but it will hold the user ID of the user ID is nothing but so the ID we are using to log into application. So operator ID or we can say user ID. Okay. And see in my application the user ID is admin alpha. Okay. Always the user ID template will be so at the time of application I have given so admin organization name which is nothing but admin alpha. So like that you can also not only this in the at the time of application they can give so one parent ID, right? So what is the format given or what is the ID generated at the time of application creation, so it will be adding with that format. Okay, so in our application the ID is nothing but admit alpha. But the thing is when you see sometimes why I'm discussing now means sometimes these properties we can use in the reports we can use, okay, in order to fetch any data of the operator, what is the name of the operator. So like that any information, such information if you want to fetch in the report, so some cases we will be using these properties. Like the px create op name, this is nothing but name of operator. You see actually operator name will be by default it will be there as admin. So where you can see all that operator information. Operator information means see in the operator menu. See in the bottom you can see this is operator menu. Here you can click on this operator. So operator means nothing but ID developer, and here operator ID is nothing but developer ID or user ID. But the thing is here operator ID actual identifier is admin thread alpha, but the thing is label will be there as admin. See when you fetch any user ID information, it will show the report inside the report. The display will show as admin as the value. Okay, but actual ID is nothing but admin thread alpha, but it will show the label. Actually label it is going to fetch label here. Okay, when you fetch any px create operator values, it will display admin as the value in the report. And like that, if you see the name also, by default name will be admin. So in all the previous transactions we're having the previous name is admin is there, right? So for you, if you fetch any data for the px create open name is the property, so the name of operator if you fetch using this property, so again for this also it will show the output as admin only, it will show. So for both px create operator and px create open name, it will show the report value as admin only, it will show. Okay, suppose if I update now this value, the full name value, if I update now in the future transactions, it may show this updated name, but all the past transactions what have we generated, so it will have the name as admin it will be having. But in the future, if I run any transaction, generate any status, then it will show this updated value. So if you want to update the name as of now, you can update some name here and give the name. And for the next transactions, if you run any, so for that it will show this updated name. Okay. For the previous transactions, whatever we generated, it will show the name as admin. There is something called px create update operator. See, in personal edition, create operator and update operator both will be same. But in the live environment, enterprise environments, maybe some operator may create the rule and some other developer may update the rule. Okay, those information will be updated in the every rule history. It will be updated. And PX create date time. When what date and time the rule is created, at what date and time the rule has been updated, means PX update date time and PX create date time properties will be there. So sometimes inside the reports we may use these properties if required. Okay? Not mandatory, but if required, if you want to fetch those information also, some cases we may use some of these properties in the report conditions also. Okay? So in the next example, see earlier I have shown the report condition without any report rule without any conditions. So like in the previous example, so we are fetching the data from the state table for state code and state name. How many records are there? All the records it is going to fetch. But here I want to apply some filter condition. See filter condition means only some records only it is going to fetch and display based on the condition given. Okay, here I want to add a condition such that so only fetch records which are waiting at pending vehicle info status for the last 7 days. So time period also I want to mention here. Even though today only we created all these records, but I want to just mention. So fetch records for pending vehicle status only, pending vehicle info status only for the time period last 7 days. Okay. Okay. This one. Okay. What is these parameters? You'll understand in the next example. You'll understand. Okay, this one we are using without using parameters. Without using parameters means we are going to hard code the condition. Okay, what is hard coding the condition and what are parameters? You will understand. Today, without using first example, we are doing without using parameters, but the next example using parameters we are going to do. So, what are parameters? Next topic we are going to understand this. Another thing is in the last session I said one point. See, wherever records are there, there only will define the report definition. See, if you take the last example, states records when you are fetching, see, data is there in the states table, so there only we need to define the report definition. But if you see, status, work IDs, these time period, all these things will be there in the work layer. See, any predefined properties we have in Pega, so these values will be assigned to work layer by default. So any kind of fetching action if you want to perform for these fields. So you need to create the report under work layer we need to define. So in this scenario, this time we'll be creating the report definition under work layer because all the data come under. So what are the predefined properties values we have? So all these come under work layer because see these all properties will be available under PV work page, and PV work page is a reference class for the reference page for the work layer. So automatically any of these values if want to fetch, so we need to define the report under work layer we need to define. So now add a report under the work layer and apply this filter condition. So like that wherever records are there, there we need to define this report definition. So right click on class option, go to reports and then report definition. So I'm giving name as so give a name. See in the main column source for which columns you need the output, you can include all the columns. See, but mandatory requirements see in this condition. So the mandatory fields are one is the pwide is mandatory because along with status we need to display the work ID value. Then other field compulsory required is py status work. And other column compulsory required is the time period we have given, right? So px create date time. See, apart from that, these three are mandatory, okay? But apart from this, I want to display the user ID of the operator and the name of operator. But the thing is, user ID if want to fetch and name if want to fetch currently in this application. So for both, it will give the value as admin only, okay? But assign them. So I want to assign right now px create operator. So this will load the user ID of the operator who submitted this data, and other one is the name of operator, which is nothing but px create op name. So px create op name. So in the column source now, if I run the report, what happens if I save and run the report? So in our application, how many records are there? All the records it is going to fetch and display in the view option. So go to actions and run. Before adding filter conditions, if you run the report, so some 15 records are there in my application, it will load all the 15 records. Okay? So with the different status. So old status and all when status is not defined. So new is the default status, right? So previous records it is showing as new. And the latest records if you see, so like pending customer info, vehicle info, resolved completed, like that it will show the records. But requirement here is only fetch the records with the pending vehicle info status. Okay, not all the records, only fetch and display the records with pending vehicle info status. See now, in order to apply those filter conditions, so all the options are available, all the relationship condition options are available. Just we need to map the required condition based on your what is your purpose. So here we need to just choose the column source and again fill the conditions here. See here condition requirement is py status work we are going to first define py status work equal to, so automatically you'll get this equal to in the value option give. Actually you can without typing manually in the box will there select values box. So here also you can choose pending okay what are the values associated with this py status work property. So in the if you click on the button here select values button, so you can select the checkbox directly. So for pending vehicle info I want to fetch. Then what is the other condition in the only fetch pending vehicle info records for the last 7 days. I want to show you time period how to apply. So here end logic will apply between these multiple conditions. So property name is px create date time. Then in order to select the time period also if you click on the button select values button you will get all the time period values. So I'm going to choose the time period as last 7 days. You can also select today but I'm just selecting last 7 days. So now save this. Now run the report. So go to actions and run. So now only it will fetch and display the records with pending vehicle info status. So two records are there in my application. See, but make sure if you in the previous after status is different, if you run the transactions and generate some records, then only you can see the output there. So many without having any records, if you run means you will not get any data here, because if you add the in the partial addition when verifying this condition, if you add some records and generate some records in the previous example, then only you will get these output according to the values given. Okay, the values given in the condition. So if we have the data, any data or any records in the previous scenario with pending vehicle info status, then only we get the output. Okay, if we don't have any records with this status, you will not get any output in this execution. So let's say before this doing this example, so yeah, after the status is defined, so few work IDs closed pending customer info, vehicle info, and resolve completed. Okay, but to some point, everything is correct. But one thing here it is not correct is, see, we don't hard code the values directly like this. Okay, it is not a best practice to hard code the values. So we'll be passing some parameters. Okay, I'll tell you what is parameters concept. But before that, one small setting is there. For some reports, we'll be applying some setting. So what is that setting? We'll understand. So let's say like that. Anytime if you need any filter conditions, so we can include the column source and apply the condition according to the requirement. So first I included the column source with all the fields. So PYD, status work, PX create operator, PX create opinion, PX create date time. Then in the filter conditions for the status work, select the pending vehicle info. So that is, you can select in the, if you click on the box, you can choose the pending vehicle info option or type it manually. If you are typing manually means it should be case sensitive. The condition values anywhere if you are using it should be case sensitive. Same format you have to mention. And for the next one is PX create date time. So there you have to choose the time period as last 7 days. And if you run the report in your application, what are the records you generated, it will show that report. Now, okay, the next one is a simple setting. See, sometimes there is a portal. See, apart from the developer portal, so we'll be having some other portal, manager portal and user portal. Okay, so now in the manager portal, actually, any reports added in application in the developer environment, so we can assign these reports to manager portal. We can assign. Okay, first of all, how to launch that manager portal means in the header option, you can see the third one, third menu or third option. So which is nothing but launch portal will be calling or launch menu will be calling. Under the launch, you can see an option called case manager. If you click on case manager, so that will switch to the, so next in the next tab, it will open the case manager portal or manager portal. Okay, in this, don't worry, I'll explain the other options step by step. Not required in this, only main thing is dashboard and my work will be there. But other options I'll explain in the routing. When I work on some routing exercises, then I'll explain the other options, not today. But here in this, one thing will be there called reports. Okay, if you open this, you can see some menu called reports menu. If you click on this, what happens means it will open something called report browser. So what are the thing it is going to display here, that is called as a report browser. So in the report browser, some predefined reports will be there. Okay? You see the some around 46 predefined reports are there. See, there are some requirements where they may ask you to assign the user defined report to the report browser in manager portal. So, okay, how to assign this report to the, so reports menu in the or report browser in the manager portal. So in order to do that, so if you go to this the report viewer tab, there is one simple setting called display in report browser. Okay, actually in the manager portal, whatever I opened this, right, this is called as report browser. Okay, so if you want to display your report in the report browser, so if you enable this checkbox, then so this report will be automatically added to the so report browser in manager portal. And in the drop down you can choose, actually nothing, not mandatory. Generally we'll be choosing open cases. If you don't select anything also, nothing. These are just options or categories we can say. If you don't select anything also, no issues. But I'm selecting open cases just to save the report. Now refresh this report browser. once again. So now these latest one, whatever this setting is done, after the setting is done, so our report will show in the report browser here. Our report, whatever it is mapped to this browser, it will show here in the report browser. If you click on this, it will display the output according to the report condition. The report, what are the condition given, results will be shown in this report browser. Okay, for our report, what are the results are there? It will show the results. Apart from that, if they want to edit the report, they can edit the report conditions, filter conditions they can edit, but not the column source. Suppose they'll be having an option to edit the report. They don't, it is not mandatory or not required, but just an additional thing is available. That is, they can also, apart from viewing the results or viewing the records for this report, they can also edit the report. Edit the report means only the filter conditions, whatever given, they can update in the report browser, they can update. Okay, not mandatory again. So if you click on this edit report, so they can update the any filter condition if they want to update. So they can update if they want to change any value in the condition or any other value they want to choose. That is, the scope is there, okay, but not mandatory to do. But scope is there. Any condition if they want to change or any time period if they want to change in the filter condition, so they'll have edit option. And once they edit, they can click on done editing. So like that, if they want to assign any reports to manager portal, so in order to make your report access given to the manager portal means, so inside your report definition rule, so just you need to go to the report viewer tab and select this option display and report browser and select some category or don't, not mandatory also. Just if you just select the checkbox also, it's okay. And after that, saving the report again, if you go to the manager portal, so you can view the your report name, you can see here. And if you click on the report, so you can see the output which is generated for that report, okay, for that report condition. So what are the condition given, it will display the results for that condition. Okay, actually already in the last document only these differences are there, again not required. And removing this, already in the previous document itself these differences are there, maybe by mistake I pasted again. So like that, any conditions if want to define filter conditions using report definition we can define, and same conditions you can also define using obj browse parameters also. So in obj browse also, so you'll get the same filter conditions you'll be getting, but I'll show it in the coming scenarios we are going to work. Okay? So but what are the conditions I define using report? Same we can also add using activity obj browse also we can define. So that is about the report definition. So sometimes if any requirement is there, so if you want to apply the filter conditions using these report definition, you can apply. Now the next one is I want to discuss a concept called parameters. See what is this parameters concept means. See in the last example, if you see in the report definition rule, so one thing is not best practice in the previous condition is, so directly hard coding the condition mainly for the first column. In the filter condition, the first column is there, right? PY status work. So I directly hard coded this value, but it is not recommended. See, suppose if you need a condition for again for some other status, you need to add another report, right? Again, if you need a results for pending customer info or result completed, like that in your application, a flow contains some 20 shapes are there. And for 20 shapes, 20 status will be there. If you want to add a separate report for every status, it is a difficult thing. See, in your application, if you have 100 flows are there and 100 different status are there also, only one condition, one report we can define based on parameter value. Okay, if you pass the value, parameter value here, so without adding multiple reports, with one report only all the filter conditions we can apply for different status. So here it is, which is not a best practice here is directly hard coding the value is not a best practice. So if we have multiple status, see even one two status is there also, will go for parameters. Okay, so one thing is remaining and all okay, but directly hard coding this value is not a best practice. So what is the use and advantage of parameters? Now we are going to understand. See, first of all, this parameter option you'll be getting in the rule, every rule, not every means in most of the rules wherever conditions are required. So there you'll be getting this parameters tab you'll be getting. See, parameter is not a rule, but you'll be getting this parameters tab in most of the rules where conditions are required. You'll be getting, for example, in report definition, if you see in the top, you'll be having a tab called parameters tab. Like that, in some other rules also you'll be getting, like in activities, in some remaining condition rules, all the condition rules you can see this parameters tab. Okay? But not every rule. In older versions means by default they are given in every rule, but they again updated in the recent versions and all, only where parameter conditions are required there in particular rules only they have given this tab. But in previous versions, in up to 7 version, what they did is, whether there is requirement is there or not, in every rule they have given, except for property, in every rule in earlier version they have given this parameters tab, but that is not requirement in requirement is not there for every rule in the application. So wherever requirement is there only, now in the present versions only where requirement is there, there only they have given this option. Okay, so this tab will be there in most of the rules. It will be there where conditions are required or where business logic is required. Okay, now, so it is not a rule, first of all, it is just an option. In some of the rules it is just an option, parameter is just an option. But what is the purpose is, see, using parameters what we can do means, so instead of hard coding the values, we will pass some parameter value. Okay, without hard coding the value directly, we are going to pass this parameter value. So if you pass the parameter value, what happens means, for this property how many records are there, any record we can select in the runtime. So that is input they can select directly at the runtime when application is live. So user can directly select the input or manually give the input. So without hard coding the value, if you give parameters advantages, so no need to define multiple conditions. Only one condition will be given for that particular column or particular property. So that only one report, the report definition rules which we are going to add, or what are the conditions we are going to define. So with one condition only we can define all the values. We can use all the values. Okay. So advantage of parameter is, so by defining parameters we can reuse any of the values. They can change input for the condition at the runtime, or they can dynamically pass inputs at the runtime. Okay, so no need to create multiple rules for every value. Okay, only one condition we can use, and in the runtime we can change the values for the condition, or in the runtime we can pass values for the condition. And here in the parameter when you define, we have to give some type also. See, type means like all the types will not be getting, only some few basic types will be getting, like text drop text integer double decimal, like 4 to 5 types, only basic types will be getting. So if you give any parameter name, any name we can give. So if you give any name, we have to choose some type also. Okay, and this parameter whenever we are using, so it will be assigning some page by default, some PARAM, some page will be added below the, anywhere in this rule if you are using the parameter, the page will be automatically added is PARAM. Okay, that also I'll show you now. So let's see, parameter hold a value at runtime. So what, for which property you are assigning this parameter? So those all the values it will hold in the runtime. Okay. And parameter is similar to property, but it is not a rule. Because why I'm calling a similar to property means, here also we'll set some basic type we have to set. Okay. So that's why it is also called a similar to property. But all the types will not be there here, and it is not a rule here. Okay. It is just an option in some of the rules in application. And if you want to provide multiple inputs at runtime, then we can use this. And wherever conditions are required and multiple values are assigned with that condition, so then we can go for these parameters we can go. Okay? So this will help you to pass different values dynamically at the runtime. And anytime if you use the parameters, before that one predefined page will be added, that is called param, PARAM. So what are the parameter name you give? So before that this page will be added. Okay, for example, if you give some parameter name as ABC, so before that, so it will be adding as PARM.ABC. This will be automatically added in the backend. So let's see now my requirement is, so I want to add a condition such that any status given it should give the output. See, if I choose in the runtime, if I select, if I give the input as pending customer info or pending vehicle info or resolve completed or any status given in the application, so only one report condition we need to define. but any value changed or any value given in the runtime, so it should display the output, it should display. So that is the requirement. So what I can do means the previous report I'm not disturbing, I'm not changing any data in the previous report. So what I can do means I can use save as option. So what is save as means what are the data given in this rule? Everything will copy to the new rule, but we'll update the name of the rule. So in the save drop down, we'll be having save as. So everything will copy to the new rule, but we need to change the name. So I'm giving some name as updated name as fetch work object report, or because this one is we are doing for any status given, we can generate the report for this. Okay, so previous one is only for vehicle status, but now so any status given in application, I can use this report, and in the future any other status defined in the future also. So the same report I can use to fetch any status at runtime. So it's a generic report we can say, which will help you to fetch any kind of status you want to fetch in the application. With the same report, we can fetch the display, fetch the output. But one thing is, first column source, no need to change anything. In the parameters tab, give some parameter name. So I'm giving some name as status and give the type as, see all the status values will be string values, right? You can choose text. Okay, so choose the type as text. Now coming to where we need to update the condition means inside the filter condition. So only for the filter one condition, that is for the PY status work is there, right? So here what we need to do means instead of hard coding that value, now we'll be passing this parameter. So which is nothing but, so status is the parameter name. So we'll be giving like this param dot status will be giving. Okay, so if you give like this, what happens means, so for this how many values are there in the runtime. So any value they can dynamically change or dynamically select the input in the runtime. Okay, so if you want to see the associated values with this property, these are the associated values, new pending customer info, vehicle info. In the future, if you add any user defined status in application or for any flow shape, if you define any status, those also will update automatically in the column list. Okay? But as of now, these four status are defined in the flow shape. So that's why it will only show the four values. So what I can do means I can directly choose the parameter name, which is status, and save the report. Actually, if I run the report, the thing is it will display all the records. Actually, I need to apply one additional condition, one more setting I need to apply. So after adding parameters, so there is again one more setting we need to apply. Actually, before applying that setting, if I run the report, what happens means now again it will display all the records whatever we have. It will display all the records. Okay, but requirement is here whenever we apply these parameters, what should happen means it should load the data, but display should be empty. Display should get only after selecting the input value or giving the input value. So display you should not get any. So display should be null. So record should load, but your display should be null initially. After selecting any input only it should give the display, or after selecting any input value only it should give the display. So for that, so wherever you use the parameter value, so there we need to apply in the same row, apply this condition. If you go to the settings option, go to settings. So there is one option called use null if empty. So you need to select this checkbox. So if you select this checkbox, what happens means it will load the records, but display will be empty automatically. So, but whenever you give any value or whenever any input is selected or whenever input is updated, accordingly it will display the records in the runtime. So now click on submit after selecting this checkbox. So select use null if empty and save the report. Now run the report, you will not get any display by default. So after we save this report, you will not be getting any display by default. So when you will get the display, suppose see what I said parameter advantage is user can change any input or select any input according to their requirement. So here I need a status. See, click on this status condition. So I want to select a value for pending customer info and submit apply changes. So only now I'll be getting the records only for the pending customer info status. Suppose if I want to get the data for the pending vehicle info or some resolved completed records, I need the output. So if you pass the parameter advantages, so for whichever the status dynamically we can give and we can get the display for the output. Okay, in the report definition. So for which input is given, so for which input is selected, so for that it will give the output. So if you are using parameter, this is advantage. So no need to add a separate condition for every value here. Okay, one condition and any status they can select in the runtime. Not only for this, like any other requirement also, not only the same properties, like from table also if you want to fetch any data, we can go for these filter conditions. That table level I'll show in the after data page concept I discuss. Tomorrow I'll be discussing a concept called data page. Then after that we'll be working on one concept called cascading. Again at that time I'll be using parameters using the report definition and data page. Okay. At that time again I'll show some more examples on. So here we use a predefined properties, right? Like for user defined properties, how to apply the parameter conditions and fetch the output. I'll show you. Okay. So date parameter also you can apply, no issue. So any property you can apply this. So that is advantage base. So when you are using parameter, yeah, more than one we can use, no issue. So if you want to add more parameters, add in the parameters tab and you can apply. So but you have to give a different name and type accordingly. You have to give the type. Okay. So like that, whenever we want a different means if you need you have different values or multiple values, and within one condition only if you want to, so dynamically if you want to change the input or provide the input, you can go for these parameters. And regarding parameters, more example will also work in the next classes also will work. Okay. So once again I'll repeat. So today we discussed regarding these three concepts called case status and how to apply the filter conditions without using parameters and using parameters. So if you're using parameters, advantages, so we can provide inputs at the runtime. Dynamically we can pass the inputs, or we can pass different values. We can change the different values or multiple values also we can choose. See, more than one value also we can choose, or any single value want to select also we can choose. Now there are multiple scopes are there. Either we can select single value or more than one value also we can choose. So that is about the parameter conditions. So try this. So tomorrow we'll understand a new concept called data page. Okay. So what is data page and how to, again, data page common thing is again using the data page also we can perform fetch action we can perform. But some additional advantages are there. Comparing report definition, again data page is best practice. So what is data page and how to use the data page in application we'll understand in the next session. So any questions anyone?